everyone, ErnieTech here, and in my continuing experiments with the Go programming language, I'm getting a little bit better, but I'm still, well, my hand is still being held by friends of mine who know what they're doing, but I think I'm making progress. And what I have done this time is to try to make an extension that I can add on to Moshix's 3270 BBS, well, at least my instance of. And the extension, I mean one of the doors, one of the proxy servers that you can get to. So what I've discovered is that I'm able to create, as I've shown you in a previous video, I'm able to create all these little neato servers using Go 3270, the library from Matt, racingmars off of Github. It's the library that Moshix uses to create 3270 BBS. Of course, Moshix's abilities are, well, yeah, I can't even see the bubbles at the top of the thing compared to what Moshix can do. But anyway, I can do a couple little things. So I've created a little server, and the little server is going to do something very interesting, and it's going to present just the world headlines from the BBC in an RSS reader. And to do that, I've just used Go 3270 and iterated through the different items that I grab from the BBC RSS feed. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. Anyway, here's what it looks like in practice. Come on over, you. That's what it looks like in practice. And all I've done is grab this feed right up here. I should probably make this little arrow bigger next time. But anyway, you can see it. RSS. Now, if you're not familiar with RSS feeds, I bet you guys are all familiar with it, but let me just give you the very quick 10,000 foot overview, or would you like the 35? Let's do the 35,000 foot overview. It's just simply a way in which to present in a very simple for a syndicated list of items, in this case news, through an XML tree from a source, in this case the BBC. So the BBC presents these. It allows you to see them. They're really kind of cool if you just look at them through a web browser because they got some colors and everything. And it's just XML. Then you can then iterate through the lines of XML, the actual items within the channel, and I'll show you, and then populate the screen using the Go 3270 library. So all I'm doing is just iterating, counting how many items, in this case 18. Then iterating, oh, by the way, if there were 19, I'd get it. I could actually just use F8 to go to the next one, but I didn't put that there because I'm a dum-dum. Then you can iterate to the next thing and see what's there. The only thing I haven't done is you can't you can't select these by number. You can't do anything with it. It's just look at it and see it, and then you're done. Maybe in the future I'll figure out how to do that. I was just tickled pink that I could do this much. And I'm tickled pink that it can run as a door in the bulletin board. So that's cool. All right, what's this look like, and how did I do it, and why did I do it, and all that kind of stuff. All right, let me drag this over here. And let me find my... Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Okay, let's drag you over here. Thanks for your patience. First thing I want to do is show you what the actual XML looks like. So I just grabbed this from the BBC, just cut and pasted it right off the website, right into Notepad++. Now, if you guys can tell me a free, as in beer, editor for Go, I'll probably switch over. I like Notepad++, but it is the do-all of editors. And I think there's better ways. I would like to be able to pull over functions and things from Go, but for the time being, this is my workflow. As terrible as it is. Hold on. More coffee. Well, I got a new Buc-ee's mug, as I mentioned in a previous video. It's a white one because my red one went through the dishwasher one too many times. I should never have put it in the dishwasher. Can't blame the wife. She doesn't touch my Buc-ee's mugs because she thinks they're weird. Anyhow, so I got a white Buc-ee's mug to add to my collection because I probably won't be back to the Buc-ee's in Virginia anytime soon. I may be down in Fort Pierce, Florida shortly, and I understand the new Buc-ee's there is just about ready to open if it hasn't already. I've been to the one in Daytona. Boring stuff. Really boring junk. Anyhow, here it is. So what you do is you just go through this, iterate, look for the items or look for the tags that you want to populate through, I'll show you. and then feed that into the Go3270 library, which will then produce a little screen printout. So what it'll do is it will actually locate on the screen, because you're using a Model 2. So it's going to locate a point on the screen, and then it's going to just iterate to the next point or the next line, and that's what it looks like. So anyway, the channel, there's only one channel in this case here. It's BBC News World. There are other channels from the BBC, and that's where the channel comes from. So up here is the channel. At the very bottom, zoom, you close the channel. There it is right there, and it's an RSS, as you can see. All right. The title is the BBC News. The description, I just grab those, put them out there. I don't get into too much more than that. I put just enough so that people know what it is. And then I get into each individual item. So each item is a news item. Item title, Moldova's pro-EU party wins vote, mired in claims of interference. What else is new? Each item is then iterated. I think in this case we are 18, until you run out of items, and that's it. Now, there are links if you're using a proper RSS viewer. There are great links. In fact, if you're using a proper RSS viewer, it's a neat looking way to get your news. But in this case here, we're just letting me experiment and writing a rudimentary proxy server as a RSS feeder. That sound good? Yeah, it sounds good. All right. Now, here's what I wrote. I will tell you that probably 50% of it, I'm not 100% sure. Some of it I grabbed from my previous video. Some of it comes right from the examples from Racing Most of it has been vetted by a couple people I know that are helping me learn. And in this case here, a bunch of it I figured out on my own, but I won't tell you what. You'll figure it out on your own. One thing you have to have is you have to have this Go32 from racingmars 3270 library. Now what I did was just simply on the command line on my server, just type in go get, and then the source from Github. And then you do a couple little things to make sure that the modules are all easily found, go tidy, and so on, and things like that. If you know anything about Go, then you probably know more than I do, but there are a couple little housekeeping things you have to do, which you don't. Well, anyhow, one other thing that I do, I put everything in its own directory, and I usually create programs that are one big honkin' Go file. And the reason why I do that is so that my simple mind can understand what's going on, because a lot of things are built from parts that talk to each other, and yeah, you get there. All right, you got the port that feeds it, you got the XML. You got the port that you go to, you have the XML that feeds it, you have a timeout in case if the BBC decides they don't want to provide this anymore, it's going to have to fail somehow. It's going to fit into your terminal, in this case here, the 24x80. The green screen, I make a little message to myself, yes, it's running. If it isn't, there's your error. This is the constant. I learned this early on, if error, and what to do with it if it does as it drops down. I didn't do anything really funky. I did a couple of things. Figured out some slices, exactly what slices are and how they work. I'm just used to working with arrays as an index. Got some new funky stuff I have to learn, but anyhow, making sure that the attention identifier keys are set up so you can hit the F3 and get out. You go through, and this is where it begins to build the screens, and this is where this Go3270 function screen comes in. And there's 5 examples on his GitHub site on how to do that. Moshix sent me a pretty big set of, I call them skeletons, to flesh out. Again, someday I'll get to that, but for now, my little way of seeing things, I just want the basic stuff. Hold on. And this little mug keeps this coffee hot. It's well done, Bucky's, well done. All right, you get the gist. I populate the fields and go through the process of making sure that I'm only getting what I want and not all the extraneous stuff that I can't use anyway. Can't click on it, can't select a line number. The line number is just to separate them so you know you're looking at different headlines. Well, these are helpers. These are the things that we found. We know we had before, given to me by my friend Alan, a few other people. There's nothing special here. And if I sound like I kind of know what I'm talking about, but I really don't, it's because when you have this kind of development, when you're working with other people who are knowledgeable, sometimes you don't have the ability to sit down at their side and say, what's this do? What's this do? Why does this do? Why did you do it this way? What's this mean? Why does Go do it like this and Python doesn't, and so on and so forth? And that's kind of where I'm at. So getting there. All right, that is it. That is my program. You can get it right on my GitHub thing. It's out in the open. Play with it, expand it, mess with it, break it, do whatever you want to it. I think in the future, as the fall breaks, the weather gets worse, I may sit down and make some extensions on this to do more things. But all right, let's actually see how this works. Move you out of the way. Bring you in. All right, so I am now running my instance of the 3270 BBS by Moshix, and I've updated it. And one of the funny things is I updated it, but I forgot to read the instructions because I've been doing a lot of running around, a lot of travel, and I wanted to sit down, catch up, do some things on a bunch of other projects I'm working on. As you guys know, I'm big in amateur radio, so they got a whole bunch of stuff going on. I belong to this club, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. So I wanted to kind of catch up, and I said, oh, look, we've got a new version. We've got the conferences. There's great stuff going on here. Let me just get TSU, take that out, drop the new TSU in, crank her up. And it cranked up, but it was borked. So like a dum-dum, I immediately give Moshix a heads up on the GitHub forum, or the GitHub issues. And he came back and said, did you ever read the instructions? And I responded like, well, no. And his kind response was, well, maybe you should. Well, you're right. So I read the instructions, ran the migration bash script, and now we're in business. Okay, that's pretty funny stuff. All right, well, here we are. Here's 4, and we're in the extended menu. And if you don't know what that is, you'll see it on the main page. You go down to the 4 for doors. Da-da-da-da. Oh, by the way, a little something to remind people. If you want to set up this Forum 3270 BBS from Moshix, I think about 5 guys have done so, and you want to host proxy sites, you want to have that ability to write proxy sites in. Let me show you real quick here. Right there. Oop, that's me. That's me. Where is it? There it is. You have to make sure you turn this on. So it's by default, it's no. And if you don't have that turned on, it will complain and it will say your Prox 3270 is disabled. And then you'll scratch your head. But that's a local thing. This has to be set. So this is the configuration file from the TSU that comes with the BBS. When you drop it over into your server and you're getting everything set up and you're playing with the configuration file, make sure you turn that on. Otherwise these things are not going to work. So I have a link back to the Moshix BBS and DGE from Australia. I got to get back onto that one. And then my experiment here, and I'm going to have a few more experiments, including an idea to create a Gopher client that will take you right to the Floodgap Gopher site, and then from that point you can go out into the world of Gopher holes. That's an idea that I have that's way over my head right now, but it's in my head. So once these things are described and your proxy 32 of your proxy is turned on here, where the heck was it here? There we go. Your Proxy 3270 is turned on, then you can get to them. And this is dynamically loaded, so you don't have to restart the server when you add things to it. So that's the story with that. All right, back over to the server here. So I'm in the doors section. I hit 4. So you can go to Moshix's site. You can go to a DGE site. Deege or DEGE? Maybe I'll ask you how to pronounce that. And then my site there, which is the BBC News RSS. Now, the BBC News RSS is structured like this. Let me bring this back over again. Sorry about This is another one of those videos that are done like a stream of consciousness. Stream of Bucky's coffee is what this is. Hold on. That's just as hot as I poured it about about a half an hour ago. Great mug. Good for you. Anyhow, Bucky's does the job again. And by the way, it's never occurred to me. I'm not going to do it. It's never occurred to me to reach out to Bucky's and say, I have a goofy channel that maybe 3 people watch. Can I get sponsored by Bucky's? I'm not doing it. I'm not ruining this. This is too much fun as it is. But right now, ErnieTech here is my domain, and everything that goes to ErnieTech on a port, well, everything goes to that IP. Well, you know how it works, and goes to ErnieTech. So that port right there, 7300, is where this little server is running. So that's where it's coming from, right there. All right, so I go down there, I press 3, give it a sec, and there it is. So, yeah, so it works, well, it's doggone simple. I mean, it's as simple as it can be. But for me, I'm pretty proud of it, as you can probably tell, that I was able to do this, not on my own, but close to my own, and going to be on my own sooner or later if I keep on, doing this. There it is. Unfortunately, that's it. You really can't select anything. You can press F3 to get out of it, but I didn't put that on the command line string. I just think it's a neat experiment. And it's not going to, nobody's going to say, boy, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But hey, if you haven't had sliced bread, no, well, it might be. But that's pretty much it. So there are the headlines today from the BBC. If you want to refresh it, but you won't see anything change, just press the Enter key. The reason you don't see anything change is because the BBC haven't updated that yet. I don't particularly like this, although it's the default date stamp. I kind of would like to have it a little bit nicer looking, but again, the whole point here is just to see that it can be done, and it can be done. Yeah, there's what I put in up there at the title section, but I didn't put it down here in the rest of the script. Yeah, okay, that's it. And when I hit quit, I give it a little time, about 10 seconds, and it pops back as it should to my BBS. I like it. It's fun. This has been a blast, and it's also taken so much of my time and attention away from digging into the actual mainframe operating systems. And I kind of feel bad about that, but yeah, I don't feel bad about that because there's a lot of guys out there who really understand the mainframe environment better than me. And for me to putz around and just sort of like, fumble, that's no fun to watch. But Moshix's BBS has given us a palette. It's given us a blank slate or a slate, like a paint by numbers. That's kind of what it is. It's like a paint by numbers, and you're filling in the colors you want. So every time he creates an update, new functionality. In this case, we have conferences now, and yeah, it's great. I'm really glad he's continuing at this. I wish I could get more people to buy in, because it is a little esoteric. Let's face it. Very few people besides us guys understand what a 3270 terminal emulation is and why you would even bother. I get a kick out of one of the trolls on Moshix's site on his BBS that essentially said that. I'm not sure even why he even bothered making an account. His attitude was, what are you guys doing this for? It seems insane. Well, it's not. It's fun. All right. That's that. That's what I wanted to show you. It is a simple RSS reader in Go for Moshix's 3270 BBS. You get to it by doors. You define it in the configuration file. You can go to Github in the description there, and you can play with it and see if it works for you. And the next time around, we'll make it a little bit better. But the next time around, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing, to be honest. But I do want to create try to create a Gopher client in 3270 and see what happens. Push my luck. All right. Anyway, thanks for subscribing, and if you haven't, please do so. And yeah, I will see you the next time. Talk to you later. Bye for now.